Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brass Beat podcast. Today, it's gonna be a quite different approach since the name of this podcast is Brass Beat podcast, but today is gonna be kind of woodwind beat podcast, okay? Because we have a strange guy here now. His name is Gonzalo Esteban. We met in Kuala Lumpur like 4 or 5 years ago. And
Even before. We met even before.
yes, we met in the. Well, you maybe can tell that better.
Youth Orchestra in Spain.
In the
Okay.
in the National Youth Orchestra of Spain. Yeah, we were quite young. I was involved back here, but things are things change. So he's principal clarinet in the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra, one of the best orchestras in Asia, and he was also awarded at the Munich International Competition (ARD) with Azar Ensemble, which was a great success. So I was wondering, how did Kuala Lumpur? I was asking you before this chat started, but how did Kuala Lumpur change, the city in the last 4 years?
The city is changing like very, very fast. Very fast is like building many towers. It's like very, very, very big things they are building here, and it's unbelievable to see how fast they are building it. Sometimes not too fast, but it's like they used to like I think to build big buildings. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but it's like that in here in Asia. It's like
yeah, I know.
it's trendy. It's trendy.
They like big things. That's why they have a big clarinet player like like you.
Well,
But I'm saying this because for those of you who don't know about Kuala Lumpur and about the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra, people there work at the Petronas Towers, which for a long time were the tallest buildings in the entire world. And it was funny because I remember 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I went there for a contract. I stayed there for a year. Then we will talk about how all the parties that we had there and everything. But
no need.
but then I was off for a year, and then I remember I came back, and it looked like a total different place. Like they had built many
Yeah.
many big towers next to the hotel where the subs live. That's why I was asking. No,
Yeah,
but
actually, the twin towers are, I think, still the tallest twin towers in the world, but it's not the tallest building in Malaysia anymore.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Really?
No, there is
which which is the big
another,
which is the biggest building
I don't
now?
know the name right now, but there is now like 1 year old or something like that, 2 years old. But if I say the name, I will say wrong. So I will not risk.
Okay, for all of you who are new here, please share this link with your friends. Now is the moment to share this with your woodwind friends and people who love classical music and orchestra, because Gonzalo has many things to share with us, his experience and all his values as human being. And it's now the moment that you can subscribe and send this link to your friends. So Gonzalo, what is the situation of the orchestra now? Are you in lockdown
Well,
or?
yeah, actually, we started a new lockdown very recently. It was last Friday, 2 days ago.
Wow.
They started a little bit earlier in other states in Malaysia, and now we started here. And yeah, it's a bit painful.
but did they close everything again? But why was that?
Now they aim to close more places like shopping malls, big shopping malls, and yeah, schools, of course. Yeah, any different places. The orchestra is not working right now.
I
Yeah,
see.
it's a little bit sad
Yeah, I
because it's the
understand.
third lockdown already
And
in 14 months, 13 months, something like that.
and do you need to stay at home before a certain time, like before 10, or that's free?
I don't think right now it's like that. They have other different rules. Every time that we have a lockdown, it changed. They change some rules in order to improve or to make it better for some people.
I see.
I don't know.
And the vaccination and all that, you know anything?
Quite slow,
Quite slow.
quite slow. But I'm gonna have hopefully the first shot next
Really?
week, next Sunday.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
So you know they could give you a free card. You know this free card that it says you have the vaccine, so you can go to. What was the name of this Spanish restaurant? We used to go.
Pictures,
Pinchos. Oh, you know
probably.
that was very. You know, I think I lost many years old.
Well,
At
no,
that time.
no, no, you gain. You
Yeah,
gain.
I gained. Yeah, I'm not
You
sure.
gain, you
Okay.
gain years and experience.
Yeah. By the way, Gonzalo is drinking a wine right now. If you are watching us at home, you can take also a beer.
Spanish wine.
Yes.
Spanish wine. I
Of
will
course.
not make,
Of course, no alcohol, no alcohol here.
I
No
will
alcohol.
not say like Rioja or Ribera, but yes.
Okay, you know the first part of this chat, I would like to talk with you about how is life in Malaysia. What do you like? I've been there, and it's a place that, you know, before I went there, I had a lot of preconceived ideas about, you know, that part of the world, because, you know, we create these I don't know how to say prejuicios, like these
Yeah, prejudice. No?
bad expectations about, and then it's one of the best places I've been in the world, and I have to say, when I was there, I never missed Spanish food. Like food there is awesome.
Yeah, great.
So can you tell us a little bit how is life there, like in terms of weather, in terms of food, you
Yeah.
know, work?
Weather is humid and very hot, of course. There is like the monsoon, so 6 months with a lot of rain and 6 months with not so much rain. So sometimes when there is no rain, it's a little bit way too hot.
Yes.
But still, you just need to like the weather. Like if you like the hot weather, it is fine. Which is you can really stand it well. About the lifestyle, you wanted to ask about lifestyle in Kuala Lumpur or
Yes.
in general?
Yeah, and you know, like food and the way people is, you know, like what did how different things are comparing to you know, European people, let's say, or Spanish people.
Well, let's say, for example, here is a mostly Muslim country. Okay, starting from that, it is of course very different country. Starting with this, for example, the alcohol here is like some
Quite-
people cannot drink. Like it's like I don't know the percentage of the people, Muslim people here, but above 65%, something like that.
Wow.
And yeah, if the country is already Muslim, of course, it's a very different place than Spain and Europe. Lifestyle, I don't know. I think it's an amazing place, mixing work, professional music, We are very lucky of doing what we do. But the mix with work and life and free time and is great. I like it very much.
Yeah. And I was, when I was there, I remember that there are many people from different areas. Like, of course, you guys are in the orchestra, but I remember we used to play football, like 5 versus 5 football indoor, but it was outdoors. And I remember that there were engineers, there were people who had a restaurant. So I don't know if you know about that, but do you think that Malaysia is a good place to, for example, if somebody is looking for a job or start a business, is it a good place now that you've been there for a long time?
I think this country is developing quite a lot, and is one of the countries, especially in general, Asia, Southeast Asia. In Europe, I think it's much more difficult to impress, to impress the people. So there are so many people with many ideas, so it's already, I mean, it's not like that, but it's not everything made it. But there are so many things. There are so many things, and many people with so much imagination. So they do an amazing work with different. If you create a shop, you create a business. Many things are done. Yeah, and here is not like that.
Yes.
And now we have starting to have a lot of things, but still, I think there is room from creative people and business people to do their own thing.
And of course, food over there. Like, what I like about Kuala Lumpur, and this is one of the last things I'm gonna say about Kuala Lumpur, is like food is amazing, because whatever kind of food you like, if you like, let's say, Western food, either Italian or American or European, you have it, because there are many malls there in Kuala Lumpur, and they are even building more, I guess, year by year. But also, if you like any other kind of like sushi or Asian or Thai, like there's everything. Which is your favorite food after living there for a while?
It's difficult to say. There are many good things. I love ramen. Sushi and sushi, I love it.
Spicy.
Spicy, I can eat a little bit of spicy. I like Indian food, but if it's too spicy, the Thai or Indian food, then you have a hard time. I'm not so used to it. There are people here, like they born with that taste, and I don't.
Okay.
So I like it spicy, but not super spicy. Indian food, I love Indian food. There are many amazing places here because there are many Indian people, a lot of population Indians. So it is the fusion of food fusion here is amazing. I haven't never been in a place like that with so much variety of food, I have to say.
By the way, Gonzalo, I have to say, if anybody wants to send a question for Gonzalo, just feel free to do it. For example, Alberto Melendez, he's principal horn in the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra. I think I said it right. And yes. He was, although we're going to talk about that later, we're going to answer his question. He's asking, he's saying, Maestro Esteban, how much I admire you. Could you tell us about your experience at the GMJO, the Gustav Mahler Youth Orchestra?
Well, of course. We actually, Alberto is a very good friend of mine. He has been here also. One week studying with us, playing Bruckner. Amazing player. Very great guy. I will congratulate him. He's been daddy for the second time.
Yes.
Very exciting. So
I was talking with him a couple of weeks ago. he refused my invitation to NAM school, but I understand because like he needs to stay with the children now, but he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. So the experience with in J, well, actually, also we have been roommates there, so it was a great experience. The music we have been playing. Actually, one of the best experience I have. It was the first time I played a concert there with that orchestra. I think I was 20 years old and we played Mahler 3. The slow movement. I think there is a video that I'm looking down and try to move my lens, the contact lens, because I was starting to see blur and I still have to play the end of the piece.
But what? Because you were like emotional.
I was emotional, but I don't know. Everything connects, everything mixed around. Mahler third, the first time we played there, it was my first time playing there. And then we have been doing many tours, actually 5 or 6, I don't remember anymore. But I share a lot of moments with Alberto. We played next to each other many times, next to each other. The joy to play, for example, with Blomstedt, I don't know, many conductors. David Azcan, I really enjoyed playing with David Azcan. Colin Davis, who passed away also, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know. It was an amazing experience, but this is not real life. It's just something unbelievable good that is happening to us when we are young. We just enjoy it.
For example, it's kind of the same as you mentioned, that it's not real life. When somebody, for example, asks me about, New York, about living in New York, what I say is, what I live there has nothing to do with real life in New York, because you are a student, you have a scholarship, you live in the middle of Manhattan, you don't have to pay any apartment. But I've never really lived how it's to stay there and pay your rent, maybe have to move far from the city. So it's kind of the same with like young orchestras. Then the professional orchestras, they have a few things in common, but I know it's different. Before we go into the orchestra world, I wanted to say something also related to this. In Europe, we have a big tradition of Western classical music, and there are all these kind of tools for young students, like, for example, youth orchestras or, a lot of academies, conservatories, etc. But what I could see in Malaysia, for example, is that there were just a few things like quite big, like, for example, Malaysian Symphony Orchestra, but then it was kind of complicated to go beyond that. Could you say which are the advantages and disadvantages of Malaysia and that region in terms of classical music, and regarding the disadvantages, how do you think things can get better there in terms of having more kinds of concerts, more chamber music, etc.?
Actually, there are kind of there are some other orchestras like television orchestra. There is a television orchestra here, the radio television, and national orchestra from Malaysia. And then these three are professional orchestras based in Kuala Lumpur. So still there are 3 orchestras, but not so many people know about it, because classical Western music here is not that well known for everyone. but many people likes it, you know, and many people are interested. And there are small gigs everywhere, and small performance, small groups. I think we lose. Now I'm here since I started to live here. I think 2015, but I came here for the first time 2013.
Wow.
Okay, so actually it's been a long journey already, but amazing one anyway. But I think we lost a great opportunity of having the conservatory YST that is now based in Singapore, which is an amazing conservatory with people from many places are going there, like not just people from Asia, it's just people from Europe, from America, and everywhere. They have great teachers. You have been there, I have been there, and we saw the university, and it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place. Huge. As I said, many good teachers. Like, we know many teachers.
In the rankings, I think is sometimes in between the 5 best conservatories in the world, like Singapore.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know about this ranking, but I have been in some other places, and this one feels unbelievable. And actually, I think Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur has this opportunity to build this conservatory university here, and well, it didn't happen. I don't know if people maybe are not that interested in classical music, but I think here in Malaysia they need something. Like they want. This is my feeling, you know, my experience. They want things in a short term. You know, they want something like in 4 years you need to know how to play the clarinet. They don't give room for that development that we had in our countries when we started to play. You started to play, I don't know how old, probably very young. Me too. But people here start a little bit later, and then they don't have the patience. And even we have universities here. Okay, we have universities and schools, but of course not that well known as YST.
I see.
Yeah, it's like
and do
4 years university. You enter that university playing 3 or 4 years, and then you get the diploma, the degree, and then you don't know how to play the clarinet or any instrument. I mean, 8 years for a study. Yes, if you are an amazing, like I don't know, the best in the world, yes, in 8 years you will know how to play. But I was not.
And do you think, because I know the MPO, the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra, they have a youth orchestra. Are they trying to have like a parallel academy towards these students, members of the youth orchestra, or not really? It's just like a few meetings and you teach them and that's it.
Yeah, we have usually three meetings every year, three encuentros. Meeting. So yeah, in that time we work very hard, but on the program I don't have time to teach them individually because I need to work on the music with them, not just me, but my colleagues too. But they have the opportunity to have lessons with us through the orchestra. And some people take it, and some people doesn't take it. But they have the opportunity. So you pay some amount, I don't know how much right now, but then it's like a ticket, you know. It's coming with the ticket to the concert, but you have a lesson.
Yeah, I can see that. Like after that hour, like there's not a long-term project with each student. Yeah, I understand that. And
I miss that, you know.
And how do you see? Because I have no idea now, but I heard that things got better in the orchestra a little bit in terms of management, or so. How do you see the future of Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra and the Asian tradition? Do you think that it's gonna tend to grow, or which are your feelings?
Again, my experience. I will tell my experience. I don't know that facts, but what I see is a lot of comparison between Singapore Symphony and Malaysian Philharmonic.
Oh.
You know, this thing, like, it's not like a battle or a championship or anything. You know, it's like if you have a good orchestra, we would like to have that orchestra. So as long as SSO is working and performing and having these great conductors and soloists, I think the orchestra will survive because of this comparison. Because here people are a little bit like that.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like, okay, now the Singapore Symphony Orchestra, they have 150 musicians. Okay, now we're gonna have 200. Like, they are always in this kind of.
It's like with the buildings, you know. Someone builds a high tower, and then we have to build it more higher.
You know, it could be great that they raise the salary of the Singapore musicians, like 5,000
every year, like,
yeah, and they say in
Malaysia, then Singapore, then Malaysia, then yeah.
Well, the problem would be they start competing, down.
No, that could be a bit thing.
Okay, so imagine if you if you had a student, let's say an online student, who has private lessons with you regularly, and he or she is interested in having a future in Asia, what would you recommend him or her? Like would you say, okay, if I were you, go to this conservatory or try this one? What would you recommend to somebody who wants to study in Asia?
Study in Asia, or someone living in Asia in order to
maybe somebody who
further studies somewhere, or just already, because this is something different.
But no, what I mean is both studying and then trying to have a future there.
First of all, I think they need to go to study overseas, at least a couple of years, in order to see other traditions and classical music. Just being there, like I don't know, London, New York, Berlin, anywhere, just for 1 or 2 years at least, to see like the like in there is everything about music and about many people are just into that. Here it's not like that. So they need to live that first in order to have this, I don't know, this perspective of knowing what to do. Then if they want to come back and work here. Then I would say there are universities if they want to teach, and some orchestras. There are some orchestras now. China have a lot of orchestra, and Japan, they have great orchestras. If you like Japan, it's an amazing place to go. Actually, our former principal flute, you remember him, right?
Yes.
He's in Tokyo.
In Tokyo.
So he moved recently, a couple of years back, to Tokyo.
It was a pity.
He's there happy with his family,
No, that's true. And what about scholarships? Like, do you know if, for example, in Singapore or Hong Kong,
IST, you get a big scholarship if you go there and you pass the exams or anything.
Yeah, and probably you don't even have to do the audition there. You can do it online nowadays.
Nowadays, I don't know. I don't know the process. Probably you have to do it online. Yeah, before, I think, I'm not so sure. I'm not that sure.
Okay. Gonzalo, okay. We met a few years ago in the Youth Orchestra of Spain. We could have an entire podcast just to talk about that. But I want to focus about, my period when I was there in Kuala Lumpur. And I want to ask you a few things which are a little bit more, let's say, freak, more related to clarinet, because I have no idea. So, for example, well, I have it over here. For example, when I saw you playing, and this is something I really like on players, is that you look very confident. And there are different traditions. I think when you talk about playing principal, because some people take the role like you have to lead, but in some other places, for example, I've seen in some Scandinavian countries, which is not that big role, like it's more than a team. Which do you think that has to be the role of a principal clarinet, or any other principal?
In this orchestra, the principal, there is just one principal. In Spain, in almost every orchestra, I mean, not every orchestra, but National Orchestra of Spain, Radio Television of Spain, there are two principals, should be two principals. So I think it's different kind of work. We have here a principal, co-principal, sub-principal, and principal bass and tutti. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is the first job I won. Before I was having just contracts, 1 year contract. Perfectly. You have been in many places. So when I started here, I started to see what can I do better for my section. It's not in terms about playing. It's more about what can I do with the management. Also, how can I behave in a positive way to them? Maybe 1 week for one of us is not the best, and then you have to be confident and give him the confidence. Like, very good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the principal role as something superior for sure. I don't see it that way. Maybe some people feel that way. I don't feel that way, and I think it shouldn't be that way. So at the end of the day, we have all our word to say and it's good the interaction between section players and principals, because at the end of the day you come to a point, So I say something, you say other thing, and then we need to make it
like a conversation.
Yeah, we need to make a conversation and then try to play the same thing.
And do you try to, and in this dialogue, do you try to win, or that's not your?
No, I don't think it's about winning. It's about try to be humble and take it. Don't take it personal. First of all, this is very important. Because if someone is saying to do something, you need to say no, but I'm doing this and I'm doing already very good. I don't think this is the right way to approach. When someone is asking you something, maybe I miss something and he's trying to complete my playing or my ideas. It's happened with conductors as well. Why not with colleagues? I don't know.
No,
in our orchestra, we don't have much conversations about that, but we know each other already. Like in our section, I know them for long, so we try to play. If something is not working, then we work on it, and
Okay, we have a question in this regard by Alex Garcia. Do you think that the salaries should be equal between the players of the section?
It depends. For example, in the work I am doing now, actually I have a plus. for being principal, but just because I'm attending some meetings. Like we have principal meetings, and then there are other meetings with all the orchestra, but we have extra principal meetings and extra decisions. But the rest is everything equal. We have our packages. Probably some people, like people who have been there for more years than me, they earn more money than me. I think that's normal, like every job. Right?
But if you didn't have those meetings, would you feel that it's fair that, for example, the principal gets paid more? You know, in my you know,
share my idea. I don't know if this is paid with the money, you know, but of course there are different jobs. To play second clarinet, I played second clarinet for many years, bass clarinet and E-flat clarinet. You know, bass clarinet and E-flat clarinet, when I have to play, you know, E-flat clarinet especially, when you have a solo, it's gonna be like everybody will play.
Yeah, super exposed.
And second clarinet, you don't have that. Sometimes yes, but not as often. So I don't know if this like temper, or I don't know how to say, like this. This time that you are playing this solo, it has to be paid or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. This could be a good point, but I'm not so sure. I think maybe.
Well, you know, yeah. I mean, it's a complicated question. I think it depends on. Yeah, it depends on your way of thinking also, because you know sometimes you can see how being seated at at the, for example, even first trombone or second trombone, and then you see every day how the horn player has to be super exposed playing these piano things, and probably it means that he has to practice, just going to the pragmatic point of view, he's gonna have to practice more notes, than the rest, and his part is. So if you take that argument, you could maybe it's
it's a difficult matter to answer.
And then
to answer, but it's a good question.
I remember in Denmark, it was played almost. I think it was the same. I was told from the day one that second trombone player and first trombone player they get the same. I think as long as most of the people agree with. On the one hand, I think that can eliminate a few problems. That's true, because if from day one that everybody's gonna get the same, probably there won't be these ego problems.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I agree with that. Actually, in our orchestra, as an example, we cannot discuss our salary with our colleagues. So when I enter the orchestra, they make an offer based in my CV and my years of experience and blah blah blah. If I want to make a negotiation, okay, I can negotiate. But they can tell me also, no, we don't negotiate, and we just give you this offer, and that's it. So yeah, I don't know.
This is have you watched this documentary on Netflix about the Chicago Bulls when they won 5 rings?
You're talking about Michael Jordan, huh?
Yeah, and the thing is about Peepers. For example, his role in the team was probably as important as maybe not as important as Jordan, but his salary was shit. because he didn't negotiate it. Somehow I don't know. I can understand at some point that sometimes it can work, but it could be a big debate. It's
a big thing. Yeah, it's a big debate, I have to say.
I was gonna say something. For example, now because of the coronavirus, most of the auditions and pre-screening auditions are via online. But before the coronavirus and all this mess that happened to the world, in Malaysia, most of the auditions were done online. So can you, since you've been for a few years listening to tapes, and I'm sure you've come to a point where you know, okay, this is a common mistake. So what would you advise to people who record themselves for an audition to not do? Don't do this.
Not do?
Yes.
Record in their room, their bedroom.
What?
Do not do. To send a recording in their bedrooms.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good thing.
It seems like everybody should know. Well,
No. Okay. Can you give us maybe about equipment, something else? No, but that's true.
Actually, now there are so many great microphones and video. I'm using the video from my iPhone, for example. And I mix with a microphone, a normal microphone, not so expensive. So now, if you really send a recording not so well made, is kind of laziness for me.
Okay. You know, people is sending questions. I'm gonna address one of them now, but before I wanted to ask you something about these tapes. Okay, imagine somebody makes a great tape and he's invited there. You know, something that is an infinite debate, and I've been addressing this during the podcast, is how should an applicant, somebody who's on a trial period, behave? You know, I'm not talking only about playing. You know, I'm talking about behaving, because, you know, this is something I'm gonna share. Okay, this is not gonna be controversial. Okay, but you know, when I was there, and I knew already I was gonna go to Denmark, and you know, I met probably 15, 20 people. My friends were trial applicants, all of them, but from all different instruments. And you can see what is a common factor is that all of them don't really know what to do. Like, and I think, you know, the other day I was talking in Bilbao. I think I was talking to Alberto Recho, that I think the main problem is this. Probably you say, okay, I'm gonna be myself, right? But then there's a person A who tells you one thing, and then a person B who tells you the contrary. So that's, you probably have more experience about that. So for people who is in this situation, or contracts, these kind of things. Come on, Gonzalo, you can.
Yeah, I have been in that situations. Here and in other places. Que me mojo, no te preocupes, que me mojo.
Yeah.
No, it's a very difficult thing. I started, when I was younger, I started being myself. When I was younger, probably I was even a little bit more harsh, more direct.
Okay,
Sarcastic,
that's good.
I have been always. But before I was more harsh and more direct. And I think it didn't work well in some places, you know. But in other places, yes, I have to say that it's not just you. It's not just the when you go somewhere, it doesn't work if you do the same thing. No? Yes, or maybe yes, or no, being polite. Yes, polite. We have to be, and humble. Yes, this is something that we have to do, and we have to play great.
Yes,
just great. No matter what, just play your thing. Try to do your best, and
don't worry, because everybody's gonna be looking at you and listening to.
Yeah, don't worry
your
about
cracks. No.
You need to play. You need to play great. That's it. I mean, you know, of course, in a point of view, it's like, oh, you are saying like everybody is looking at you. Probably yes. It depends how many people on trial are that week. In England, there are so many people on trial. In United Kingdom every week, but here not that many.
No, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I think it depends of the orchestra. You know, there are people more tolerant and people less tolerant. I
If you
I
could
will
have,
say something, for
yes,
example, about my orchestra. I think we are in a very random part of the world, not random, but very far away from the Western classical music. It was started to be made, and this is a fact. I mean, I don't care about here. There are so many good musicians who have been in great orchestras. We have
yes,
our player who is being very young, 60 years old guy who has been in the Norwegian radio orchestra, I think. Yeah, Oslo Phil. He has been in Oslo Phil, for example. We have other people who have been in other orchestras, and just put this example. But of course, this is totally different. So in our orchestra, I think we have the tendency to be a little bit more defensive to the people who are open and be more, I don't know, openly talk. You know, people are more defensive, more just try not to. Don't tell me you are like, you play great, I play great. You know, these kind of huge things. You know, in Europe, I remember many people coming, oh, you played amazing, or in America also, in the States, I'm sure it happened the same. Here is like, okay, you play great, but let's do the same next week.
you know, sometimes that's good. Sometimes being that direct and cold, sometimes it's good because, you know, there's another version of this attitude, which is the contrary, which is okay. You play great, it's awesome, everything you did, bravo. But then they don't give you any reason and you are out. That happens also in a few auditions.
I don't like that. I don't do that with people on trial. I remember, actually, I can say that the second bassoon player, he was probably the last person who came to the orchestra, and I said to him, yeah, I didn't vote for you, but now we have to work.
Yes.
Let's try to work together for as long as we are here.
That's.
I mean,
but you were honest.
To say the truth. I said in my way. Maybe he. Actually, last week we played, and then we addressed a couple of things, and it was okay. Probably at the beginning he didn't like it, but in the future, I didn't say we cannot work together. You know, we have to actually, because he's gonna be my colleague. But I wanted to say to him the truth. Maybe because I feel better. No? I don't know.
Okay, clarinete. I was gonna call you clarinete. Gonzalo, as a clarinet guy, which is the most important thing for you, like both technically and musically? I don't know. For example, I could say, being a trombone player, you know, I want a clear attack, like stable intonation, you know, nice control of the styles. This is just an example. Like, which is the most important thing for you? Because, you know, for example, this is funny. Like there are a few things that are quite different from trombone players, at least when it comes to orchestra and clarinets. For example, in most of the traditions, in most of the traditions, for example, trombone players are not supposed to move that much. Like, they need to be stable, maybe because most of the time we're playing the meat of the textures, like harmony. So then it's not good that part is unstable. And for example, also talking about technically, the beginning of the notes. This is quite funny in clarinets. Like, we are very used to ta, right? But clarinets is always, you know, like clarinets is always, no, like, so which is the most important thing for you as a?
I would say flexibility. I would say for a clarinet, the most important thing is the flexibility. If you know your role in the orchestra, the clarinet, yeah, has a sweet sound, blah blah blah. But first of all, the oboe is giving you the tuning in the orchestra, right? So you have to be flexible because you are not the person who has to be on the right place or something like that. I don't know how to say, but you understand me. Hopefully, everybody understands me. And the role of the clarinet is mixing French horns with the rest of the woodwinds many times. So actually, it's like in my orchestra we have the French horns quite close. So my kind of thing to do is try to mix the intonation with the intonation of the rest of the woodwinds. And I think it's the most difficult work for me to do. So you need to be flexible.
No, that's a good point. And something maybe we might disagree is: do you think, like the specifically the trombone section, but do you think the brass section? I'm not talking about your orchestra, but do you think brass section sometimes plays too loud? That's
depends on the orchestra. It depends on the orchestra.
Okay, so would you say that your dream brass section had to play always, mezzo piano? No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the brass section needs to probably you think similar. Needs to extend the volume of the string size and the woodwinds. The woodwinds we cannot give that volume. Actually, we are not able to do it if we want to play it correctly and with a good sound. And so I understand that the French horns, trumpets, trombones, and tuba are giving one extra. And not every time. Please don't get me wrong. Just when the music needs that, that's it.
And Gonzalo, for example, imagine this can be applicable to the brass, but for example, in the woodwind, imagine you have a very strong this is just in my head. Like, imagine you have a very strong bassoon section, very strong clarinet section, but then the rest, for some reason, maybe because of different generations or whatever, they cannot get up to that volume, that you have when you play, for example, sustain and you play. Now, what would you do? Adapt to them, or
the real thing. I believe that if you are a good musician, you have to adapt to everyone. So as I said, for me the flexibility is the most precious thing, or what a clarinet is.
Even more than money? Even more precious than money? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I believe if you are a good musician and you have a good ear, you have to adapt to your colleagues, and I saw that from the greatest orchestra players. I saw that not every time, but
okay.
Many times.
Yeah, no, I see. No, I can understand that. I've seen that a few times in the brass section that happens, and probably is more noticeable. But no, I agree what you say. Like, you need to find that balance, and also maybe talk to the other section. Try to, you can adapt a little bit, they can adapt a little bit, and things go.
Yeah, of course, it cannot be just you the whole time.
Okay, this is gonna be probably not the last, but now we're gonna move to another section. This is the last question related to Malaysia. Somebody asked in the chat, Jose Antonio Rodriguez. He said, I would like to know if people in Malaysia know how to appreciate classical music, and how is Gonzalo's daily life? How is your day to day? By the way, feel free to ask your questions. Like this video, because this is for free content. So the only way to support me so I can be happy. A happy composer is you click like, you share this with your friends, so more people can learn about Gonzalo, and also subscribe because you're gonna find like great guests in the future. Although the best one is today with us, which is Gonzalo. Okay, so how is your day to day?
Actually, the people can appreciate classical music. Yes, yes. Because in which level? Of course, I don't think like in Europe and States, not everyone. It probably will be a higher percentage in Europe and in States that can appreciate in a really deeply way the music. Probably here, not everyone can do that. Yeah, but it has to start when it has to start. Europe it started many years ago, and here it's not like that. My lifestyle.
So you wake up, you put a glass of vodka.
Lately I'm being quite lazy because of this MCO and stuff. It's been unbelievable how life changed actually with this COVID-19. And yeah, I don't know, lifestyle. I wake up every day and I go to practice. I go to the gym. I go to the swimming pool. Luckily, we have swimming pool here, but now is everything closed. So yeah, I don't know. I was playing cards today with some friends.
Really?
Spanish cards, most.
But online or?
One house.
And during the lockdown, did you at some point think, okay, we are not gonna work for a few weeks, months? I'm gonna go back to Spain just until this situation go back to normal. Did you think about that, or?
I was thinking about that, and I still think about that right now, especially because I don't know. Actually, they respect our holidays, which are actually next week because ends the Ramadan ends.
Wow.
Next week, so we have one Hari Raya week holiday.
Good.
Still, yeah, we are a massive country. So.
No, it's a ongoing vacation. That's.
No, yes, 1 week holiday, and then of course because of the lockdown, we have to cancel this last week. We were going to play Mendelssohn Fourth and Mendelssohn program and Italian, yeah. And luckily, they cancelled. And yeah, I'm thinking about it because the cases are going higher and higher here. And
really?
Yeah, but luckily, I'm getting the vaccination soon. So I don't know.
I don't know if you saw. I hope things change. Thanks to the vaccination, for example,
not just for the music, but for everyone.
I've not been a great supporter of how things were done here in Spain, but I have to say, regarding vaccination, they are doing quite okay in comparison with the rest of Europe. It's going all right. You can see cases go down, but we'll see. This virus is the worst thing.
Germany, for example, now how it's not been so well, and United Kingdom has a lot of vaccinations. I think.
Mm-hmm. So I hope. Otherwise, if things get a little bit bad during the summer, you can come here. You can visit me in Caudete.
Yes.
I will do a tour for you. You will like it.
Of course, you will do a tour.
Okay. Somebody. Alex, he's very active. He's saying, do the people think you are rock stars because you work at the Petronas? I think, I remember.
Maybe some people does.
Can you confirm this?
Yeah.
I remember when I was there. I'm not gonna say who told me, but somebody told me that if you are driving a car and the police stops you, for example, and give you a ticket, but you show that no, I work at Petronas, they might say, Okay, no problem. Like, no problem. You can continue. That's something I heard, but I'm not sure.
It's something. It's something I heard too.
Ah,
I don't drive.
well, it's
I mean, I will tell you, I don't have license.
but not even Spanish license. Spanish driving. Did you have in the past, or well, but it's okay. But you play clarinet quite well, and that compensates.
I have a motorbike, but I don't have license. Finish the topic.
Okay, let's move to the next question. We are going.
It answered your question.
Okay. That answers my question. Okay, let's going back to the last two blocks, which is a little bit your background. Okay, like how did you end up playing clarinet, and where did you study? I know you studied with, among other teachers, with Arbeloa, which is a very important teacher here in
Arbeloa, you mean the football player?
Alberola. Yeah. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Okay. Yes, Alberola.
Tomas falsas.
Yeah. Fake. Yeah. Fake takes. Okay. Why did you choose clarinet, and why didn't you choose trombone?
I don't know why. I like trombone players. I rarely hang out with a lot of brass players. I like to go out with them.
We know how to enjoy life.
Yes. You are totally right. And you say a lot of jokes. The brass players, you know, as you know, also you are one of the best person who can make a joke and make me laugh crazy. Amazing.
Okay. Later, maybe.
But then, you know, making jokes, you are like
the boss. No. Maybe later, if people support, if people clean like, you know, we will take a joke. But you have to start. You need to start.
No.
Yes.
No, because I'm very bad. You are the good one, you know.
Okay.
Which question?
Why did you start playing clarinet? Like,
Yes.
do you come from a family of musicians, or?
Actually, my father is an amateur saxophone player. He really enjoyed.
Like mine.
Playing saxophone.
Like mine is also amateur saxophone player. My father. So.
And then your brother became, and then bam.
Yes, exactly. That was it.
So at the beginning, when I was 5-6 years old, probably I was with him. Well, not probably. I was with him when he was practicing, and I started to like it. And even my grandfather used to play sometimes the bombardino, the euphonium, and stuff in my village music band in Segovia, Sepúlveda. You know, my father is coming from there, and I started to like, and then I remember he said, "Well, if you like music, then come. We need clients in the band. We need clients in the music band, so you will play clarinet." And I said, "Okay."
How much did you ask how much you pay? No, not at all.
No, I didn't know about money on that moment.
Okay.
But and then I started there. I think I was 7 years old, and with 7 years old I entered in the conservatory in Madrid, in Teresa Berganza.
And when did you say, okay, you know, I want to make a living with the clarinet. I want to become a professional. I want my life to be surrounded by music, you know?
Yeah. I think I never knew. No, but it went on, and then I started to be quite successful when I was younger, when like 11 years old, 12 years old. I remember playing some competitions and being with some prizes and stuff. And then just play and start. I like it to play fast, Clarinet has to play fast, and I like it to play fast. My teacher said you need to play slow, and then I went with starting to have lessons with Vicente Alberola, with Miguel Espejo, the people, amazing clarinet players, And I went on, and I don't know. I think first time I really like, and I was thinking already like, this is nice. I like it. I think in the Jazz Orchestra of Madrid, I was
In the
15 or 16.
Orcam.
Orcam.
Yeah, this is a question that maybe might be useful for students. I think it doesn't matter if you are clarinet or trombone, which is, I think in your case, you played in, probably the two best orchestras, youth orchestras in the world. No, the three of them. Did you play? You played in Gustav Mahler, right? You played in Verbier. You were there also. Eullo, did you do? Those two. Okay, those two, which for me are the best ones.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because this is a common comment that people usually say when you are a member of a youth orchestra? I remember when I was in. This is maybe a little bit arrogant, but sometimes it can be quite true. Which is when you are, for example, playing in the Honda, in the Youth Orchestra of Spain, you can hear a few times this comment that this sounds better than most of the professional orchestras,
But I have to say, is correct. I have to say, I think. But then when you go to the professional orchestras, it's totally different work, In Honda, the Youth Orchestra of Spain, we are working like 10, 12 days to play one program, maybe sometimes two. And then we play 3-4 concerts, and then in every orchestra is just 2-3 days, another 2 days concert. It's totally different. Of course, we will not reach that details. Many orchestras can do it. Many orchestras can do it because they are very good. But others are not that good, and at the end become a little bit like a walk, like a job.
No, that's true.
Which I don't. I agree, but I don't agree.
It would be nice if people after 2 weeks in a youth orchestra, they started to act like like in professional orchestra, like, hey, like we need a coffee now, like it's 1 hour and a half. The rehearsal. We have our rights. No, the group. Coffee time.
Tea time.
No.
United Kingdom.
Exactly. Okay, we're gonna listen to a little video of Gonzalo playing amazingly. One of the movements of Oscar Navarro's clarinet concerto, and feel free now, for this minute, to write your questions for Gonzalo, because this podcast is coming to an end. So I think now is a good point to ask him. Let's listen to this video, and then after this video, we will start answering a few questions. Okay, so... So we are back here with Super Gonzalo. I think we are having a lot of fun. Actually, we have been like 2 weeks without podcast, and this was the best way to start the brass beat podcast with a woodwind player, and Gonzalo is the best. So we were talking about youth orchestras. Would you? Okay, when it comes to practice. Professional orchestras and the way youth orchestra work is totally different. But what do you think about auditions? Do you think somebody can be very successful at youth orchestras auditions, but then not be able to win an audition?
Could be possible in a way, like when you are younger, and probably the juries of the youth orchestra looks for people with a lot of talent and musicality, of course, you need to know how to play the instrument. I'm not talking about that, but maybe they are more focused on the musicality, or on how they can develop the musicality, or how they like how they play, in music ways. And then technique has to be there, but maybe a little bit less. But then in a professional orchestra, you have to be real
pro.
Technique.
Yeah, we could say that when you audition for a Hochschule or even a youth orchestra, what they really care is about your potential, maybe. Like what you can. It's kind of like in the Spanish TV show Operación Triunfo. Like they don't want to get people who know how to sing, but they want people who can.
And they want to shape them. Actually, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then they can. Like in this TV show, so they can make millions of dollars. No, I'm kidding. Okay, and when did you decide? Okay, you studied in Switzerland or also in some other?
I studied in Spain, studied in Switzerland chamber music. I studied in Rome, in Santa Cecilia, in Rome. Yeah, that's it.
And we say that there are differences between youth orchestras auditions and professional orchestras audition. You were also in an academy, right? If I'm right,
academy.
Like for a year. Weren't you academist?
No, I was in Santa Cecilia, Rome.
Santa Cecilia.
With Alessandro, with Carbonare. Yeah, in this academy. But I was not in the academy, in the orchestra. I was not playing with the orchestra.
And for people who, this is I kind of know the answer, but how did you change personally when you decided, okay, I'm gonna move outside and I'm gonna move abroad? Like, why do you think that's important?
Actually, this is a good question for me, because I hesitate so much that I never move properly. I was in Spain the whole time, making an exception when I went to Portugal for a 1-year contract in banking. But actually, this was my problem. I didn't want to move from Spain. I like it so much, and I still like it. I was studying 3 years in Salamanca and then 2 years in San Sebastian, and I was thinking already that the 5th year was already like, for me it's a master. That's for my thing. Then I went 1 year to Rome, of course with Carbonara, which is an amazing musician. And I studied chamber music a couple of years, going back and forth from San Sebastian. I was traveling, so I was studying in San Sebastian and traveling to Basel.
Like every month, or?
Yeah, it depends. I was having a scholarship from Honde, chamber music scholarship. So it was one of the first ones, actually, I remember. So we applied and we got it, and yeah, that's why I could go,
Ah,
because it was kind of
so
tough.
you studied in Switzerland as a group.
Yes.
Oh, so and can you tell us a little bit how was the beginning? You know, with Azar
Yeah.
ensemble. Where did you meet? Like, did you meet in Zurich or
We met the first time in Honda.
Honda?
Yeah.
Maybe, do you think maybe I was there, or maybe it was before? I'm not sure. My first meeting was in Festoa, in the Basque Country.
Yeah, but we were not everybody there. It was right after, it was that summer,
Yeah,
probably,
no.
and I was not there. Actually, I got a call from the French horn player, and I went there to to see how it goes and to ask for the. Actually, we wanted just the scholarship in order to do it properly.
And when did you decide? Okay, we're gonna go to Munich. Like we're gonna do this ARD because. By the way, when somebody does when somebody wants to do the ARD Munich competition with a chamber music group, are there any rules? Like, for example, can you go with a saxophone quartet or a brass quintet? Mm,
No, actually, this is the specific thing like woodwind quintet. It's
okay,
just this formation: French
okay.
horn, flute, oboe, clarinet, and bassoon. Just this. So actually, it's specialized of just this formation.
Okay.
Which there are not so many competitions around the world with this topic.
Mm. And did you do any other competitions before that, or
We did, but not just for the
quintet?
quintet. We
Yeah, yeah,
did
yeah,
like chamber music
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's so difficult to find. You know, actually
No.
there is the Nielsen competition, Marseille,
Mm,
and maybe something else, but I think this is the biggest.
mm.
We did
And
Juventudes Musicales in Spain. We did
mm,
Primer Palau.
uh,
Primer Palau, we got the second prize. We did some other festival, Swiss Adelboden festival in Switzerland. We got also some
mhm.
prizes.
So,
And in
mhm.
yeah, in Juventudes Musicales, we didn't get anything.
And so, can you tell me like how was the preparation for this competition, and why do you think you succeed?
Well, actually, it coming from, I think we started to meet in 2010. So it was 2010, and then the competition was 2014. It's already quite a long time for woodwind quintet to know each other and to know
Mhm,
how we all play and to, yeah, to play together. No,
mhm,
many quintets that they just go for that prize and for the competition. They just try to play together a couple of months or 3 months.
mhm,
And they just go there, they make a recording, and they got selected, and they go.
mhm.
It's good. It's good, but you know,
Yeah.
for an ensemble, it's difficult.
Like that's not the spirit. Like I mean of a chamber music group, because how much can you learn to play together in only a couple of months? Maybe it's not that. Maybe you can learn a lot, but it
To each
is.
other, especially to know each other, how to, you know, for a quintet, we can go really deep into the music. And we had this amazing teacher, Sergio Cholini. I learned so many things. For me, he's one of the best musicians.
And how was the preparation like for the
Preparation,
did you go
actually,
to a far away house without internet just to living the hippie life a little bit? No.
well, it was 1 month before starting. I mean, just the preparation for that thing, we played the recording first, and I remember it was tough because I was not happy with it. And it was already very late, and everybody was tired, and we did many takes, and I wasn't happy. And I said, shit, we are not going to get selected. But yeah, we were very late and I was traveling. People have to work. I don't remember anymore. But it was like late night, like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m. And we had one guy recording us, principal French School of Basel Symphoniker. So he was very humble, but already enough. We have families.
Yeah.
And then we passed this thing, and then just 1 month. I remember I was in Verbier with the festival, and then I went directly to Switzerland. 1 month, every day, crazy. Every day, 6 hours a day.
And remember what we were talking before about the orchestra, right? That you have to be able to give the best to the group, but at some point, like I've seen that myself, like either with your colleagues from the Hochschule or the Conservatory, or even at the organization of like we organize a festival here, and knowing each other is complicated. Even if because we are almost family. Is my brother, is myself, my cousin is also helping. But even like that, like we have to get together and say, okay, how we're gonna do this. And sometimes there are different opinions. So, what's the most challenging thing would you say for a chamber music group?
What is the most difficult for a chamber music group? I'm not so sure. You had a good point, like trying to agree all on something, but sometimes we don't agree. We try, but we don't. And if it's something big, then it goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I remember many times that I didn't agree much with the oboe player, but often, but it's okay. We have to play together. At the end, we need to agree somehow. So you have your idea about your thing, okay, but then let's try to play. When we have to play a chord, we need to play together. Yeah, we need to try to.
Yeah, because that's. Yeah, because I feel in a chamber music group, what it has to be hard is that, okay, there are many lines that probably you are together, but there are a lot of solo things, and I think it has to be very complicated to tell somebody else when he's playing solo, and probably he's very confident or see about how he's playing or she's playing that solo, and say that no, I don't like your approach, or is not in the context of the performance as a whole.
It has to be said. It has to be said if you want to really bring the group to a great level. Like if we wanted to go to the ARD just to go there and play the first round and go home, okay. I mean, I'm not I have never liked the competitions. I didn't play many competitions on clarinet. I played a couple of things when I was young, and then I didn't like it anymore. I wanted to play in an orchestra. I think I like it since the beginning. I played in an orchestra. And then in a chamber music group, you have to talk. You have to talk face to face, and I think that way. Why? Which is the reason that you think that way. It cannot come from. You cannot say whatever you want to say.
No, that's true.
To have some meaning behind, So yeah, it's not that easy.
And how was it when you were told, okay, you won the second prize? How did like were you happy about it? Did you expect it, or?
It was funny, like in some of the interviews I also talk about this. Like every round is like, hey, someone is like, yes, we are going to play this shit out, and we're gonna make it. I think we didn't expect it. I mean, I expected when, in a way, when I went to the final round, when we played the final round, then you are there, it's like, maybe we get something, you know, like, okay, so suddenly we can get a prize, or maybe not. Okay. Yeah, the nerves are crazy.
Do you get more nervous playing chamber music or orchestra or solo? If you had to rate, okay, for example, solo, orchestra, chamber.
I think the responsibility is different. For me, chamber music, my responsibility is bigger for me because I have my colleagues. You know, I want that my colleagues are proud of me, and then they are like, "Oh, you did a great job," or something like that. You know, I don't want my colleagues to, "Oh, hey, Gonzalo today," you know.
No, I understand.
Sometimes happen, of course.
No.
I remember the final round. One of our colleagues didn't have the best day, and of course you are not going to tell him, "Hey, no, that moment, no, you know, we don't want to touch these feelings, you know."
Of course.
But
And how did you?
for me, the responsibility is bigger from chamber music because when I play solo, in the orchestra is different. I think the responsibility is less also. And when I play a concerto by myself, I think also I feel different. The responsibility is in a different way.
And how did your and we are coming now to the end of the interview. Like, how did your life change? Like after the early Munich competition prize. Like, did you have to do many concerts? And then you had to move to Malaysia, I guess. That was right after. Like, how I guess that period of your life had to be crazy, because you know it's kind of like having a girlfriend or a couple somewhere else, and you know like distance. Sometimes it's super complicated, and in terms of everything, like also your economy and everything, things that you have to how would you say sacrifice. I don't want to use that hard word, but sometimes you have to sacrifice a few things if you want to maintain.
Think what you like more, or what you want to do more, or what you want in your life. Yes. Actually, I started the trial here. It was a long trial in 2013, August. We won the 2014, I think. So it was a year after. The trial here, I probably the first season I did 6-7 weeks, something like that. 6, 8, 7 or 8. So you can make it. You know, you can really manage to do rehearsals with your quintet and stuff. And then when we won the ARD, it was well, we didn't win. We got the second prize and audience and blah blah blah. But first prize was not given. And then it started to be less manageable because I was coming more here, so I had more weeks because they like me somehow, and then we started to have more concerts there. So actually I think I remember the recording for the ARD. It was coming from Kuala Lumpur, like crazy.
Wow.
You know, like coming from Kuala Lumpur, arriving there in the morning, and then after lunch or something like that, starting to.
And you know, Gonzalo, did you at some point thought, okay, well, did you even think at some point think about it, like, you know, I'm gonna leave Malaysia to stay there playing with a group, or not really, or you have, because I guess
I didn't know because a wind quintet group. There are not so many well known. There are not so many people who are living just from the quintet, you know. Actually, my dream was to play in an orchestra, and then this this chamber music thing, it gave me just confidence about my playing as well, and not just as a chamber music player, just playing the clarinet, you know. And I don't know, I was thinking, I like it well, you know, I like it very much, and the orchestra, I like it very much. So I was at the beginning, I did both, but was crazy. Yeah, it was a little bit crazy. So of course they wanted some other things that they want, and they kind of picked me out.
Okay, Gonzalo, before you continue, we're gonna play a video of you, and then right after that, we're gonna go to the last part where you're gonna explain this, right? And we're gonna try to finish this with positive vibes, okay?
Yes.
Try to do this with positive vibes. Maybe you're gonna tell a joke. Okay, we're gonna listen to Gonzalo's playing the Copland. No, my beer has been empty for an hour. I've been just pretending I'm drinking, but I'm not. Okay, we're gonna listen to this. Take advantage to subscribe, to like this video, share it with your friends, because today we have a clarinet player. That's not a very common thing. And right after this video, we will talk about how this end up, like how at the end you took a few decisions, and also I want to talk about future. I want to talk about future. Wow. Gonzalo, we are back with Gonzalo. Like, this has been, you know, I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I still have one question for you about, you know, these air attacks that we trombone love it, but we cannot do it because we cannot do air attacks. It is forbidden. But you were saying that, okay, you won the Munich competition. Then you won your job at Malaysia, and you know, this is kind of a relationship. You know, being in a chamber music group can be. So how did things, you know, what happened next, and how did your life go?
They offered me here the job in 2015, and I started here in 2015, September. I don't remember when they offered me, but maybe March, April, something like that. And I started in September, end of September, beginning of October. And yeah, I decided that way because I like it very much here. I know it's very far away from my country, which now I miss. And then we will go later talk about future and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, on that moment, I felt that way, and of course they wanted something else probably, and yeah, my plans they didn't like my plans maybe. Okay. Actually, we had some kind of problems as well as in the quintet, and they kind of let me go.
Okay, they gave you
our relationship by No,
it's like
they sign another contract.
You know, it's kind of like when your girlfriend tells you, like, it's not your fault, it's my fault.
Oh, you are going far away. I don't go with you.
No, I understand. You know, but it's very valuable that you are telling this us here because you know I think in this podcast at some point I also did in some other previous podcasts. At the end, you feel you are talking just for nobody. You feel that you're in a private room and you are just telling. And I've told like many private things here that if you explore the different podcasts, you can know a lot more about my dark life. Not dark actually, like my secrets. But you know, we all move on, right?
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm sure I remember when I was there in Malaysia, the time I was there, that I saw that you looked happy. You know, you started. You know, you had already your, let's say, your circle of people, and you were trying to live your life there, which is the most important thing for somebody who goes abroad. You know, I don't know if I told you this, but for example, when I moved to Denmark, I understood how important it is whenever you go to a place, just try to do different things. Not only focus on the orchestra on your job. And for example, there I remember I was living at the beginning in one apartment, like one far ago from work. I had to take 1 hour train. And at some point, I said, okay, you know, I'm going to try to find a student apartment. Even if there are 5 more people, you know, I'm just going to... I met a few young people who were playing in a...
I remember.
Yeah, they were playing in a ska group. And you know, I was playing in the orchestra. But I was like, man, I'm here alone. I have no friends, and I like ska music. You know, let's play together, and then from there, you know, I met lots of people, and that's what I recommend also for people who move to another country. Just go to the gym or go to salsa classes. I know you play. Hey, you dance salsa. Maybe you could.
No, I did that the first year. So
No.
I don't know if you remember that, but I did that.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. No, many injuries. I have
I remember.
ligament, ACL, and now I have recently the ankle. I was
Because of football or
accident. I had an accident.
okay. Let's not talk about it. I remember there, like in Malaysia, that badminton is the national.
They like it very much.
Yeah,
They like it very much. Badminton. Yeah.
I love playing there. Okay, so we're gonna go just to the last part, which is gonna be short actually, but we can discuss about this. Like, you've been there. I have been also there, and I've been abroad, but of course I don't have not even 50% of your experience, like being for many years in another place that is not your home. When the years pass on, like, does it get more difficult to stay away or not? Because I was talking to Victor. I think it was Victor Belmonte. He plays in the radio in Netherlands, I think. And I remember we were talking about, you know, when you live abroad, no matter how many years you are abroad, like at some point there's a point where you don't know where you are really from. Like it's like a how do you say, immigrant. So do you miss more and more Spain, or you consider Malaysia your place?
Well, maybe Victor also speak the language, the Dutch, which probably helps. I don't speak Bahasa Malay here. I speak a few words, but everybody talks English, more level, I mean, better or worse. But we can communicate in English. I don't know. I don't feel like this is I miss Spain. I miss my home. I miss my family very much. But I made here, I don't know, a nice place to live. I don't know if I can call it home. I think probably I can call it home. And I don't know for the future, but I'm thinking about what to do. I'm still not hesitating to not make audition. I want to make auditions in other places, but being here is more difficult because you need to travel that far. You need to rest, so you need to take time. It's not like you go in Europe, you go London in the morning and then you play after. No, it's not like that. You need to take time.
And what did you have? Well, sorry, I'm obviously.
No, please.
And what about if you have an opportunity to teach, or you think you are an orchestra man? You're a.
I'm learning a lot. I'm teaching, of course. I'm teaching still in this application, Play with a Pro.
Yes.
And, yes. So, and I teach privately. I like to teach, but I think I have a lot to learn yet in order to get a position. I can share my experience, and I like to teach. But maybe I'm more comfortable in the orchestra right now. I don't know. Maybe later. Why not?
And do you have any plans that you could share with us, or?
Right now, everything is a mess. But I'm a little bit afraid about our orchestra because we don't play much, and the thing is like of course now a lot of time to think. I read a lot of stuff, but the first thing I came here is not because of the country or the lifestyle, or it was because of my job, because of the orchestra. Then you make your life and whatever. But now after 13 months that we played 10 weeks,
man,
I was being lost.
Can I tell you something? I'm not gonna say who told me this, but after one of these, after I did one podcast not far ago, with somebody who has a great position, and he told me exactly what you said, which is, I came here because of music, but after 7 months, 8 months, not being able to play on a regular basis, I feel myself, I feel like, the only thing that I have here is my trumpet, like my instrument. Apart from that, apart from that, I have nothing.
Good.
Yes, but it's a, like, and I know many other artists, including myself, that sometimes if you think about, okay, if I take music or what I'm doing for my life, what else I have, and that's it's like, I know you have things, but sometimes when this pandemic was a good thing.
It's still tough. Life changing for many people.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
And I'm in a good position being a musician, and the orchestra still paid me. Many other orchestras, well, we know all of that. And not just orchestra, just the normal people, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Normal people.
Normal.
like the guy who asked that.
You are a normal. No.
I'm one of the normals, but
a normal.
A lucky normal.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I understand what you say. The thing is that people, I think we are all expecting what's going to happen. What's next? I think that's, and what I see is that as soon as everything gets back to normal, which means the virus is not here. I think people think that the world is gonna change a lot, but I have the feeling that we're really gonna adapt quite quickly what we used to do. I'm not sure, but you can see here in Spain, for example, yesterday they eliminated this rule that at 12 you need to stay at home, and at 12.1 like squares were crowd. All the
So much, I think that.
yes, I know, but okay, this is the last question, and this was asked by somebody on Instagram. So her name is Jennifer. I think she's a clarinet player. I'm not sure, but she wrote a question from Cincinnati, which is it's two questions in one. Is which would be your dream in the future, professionally and personally? So it's like two.
I hope it's not a question like, how to say, a tricky question or something. You know, after answering your question, I remember I applied for the Cincinnati Orchestra. I think it was the first orchestra in States. I applied, but I didn't appear there. So I hope it's
okay.
It's not a.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this part. I'm gonna cut this part.
Jennifer, sorry, but
No.
I'm sure you are a very nice lady. Whatever. My dreams. I think my dreams right now is go to see my family. First of all, after this pandemic, I would like to go see my family. In terms of music, I want to do music in a normal basis. It's not a big dream. Maybe it is for what we are living right now nowadays. But I just want to play music every week with my orchestra. Mm-hmm. I don't want to ask for a huge thing. I just want to play my clarinet every week, or every week or every 2 weeks. I don't know, whenever I have to play. But right now it's being a nightmare. I don't feel fulfilled. Of course, you do other things, but
no, it's not the same.
At the end of the day, of course, I think music makes me really fulfilled with and I can express myself. It's a nice thing to do. You know?
I'm sure it's gonna be good for you in the future. I'm optimistic right now. I think this is gonna be like a reverse effect. You know, the end of the pandemic is gonna have a reverse effect, or that's what I hope so. And you know, Gonzalo, you know, it's a pleasure that the first guest I've had here for the woodwind section was you. You know,
but I'm very honored, and I hope the people like your channel and everything. The pleasure is mine, and it was a very nice time.
You know, maybe someday I will write a very flexible piece for clarinet. You know,
please.
And the trombone section will only play choral.
No, I didn't say that. No, don't put that words on my. No.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, man, this has been a pleasure. We've been here almost 2 hours. Like when people is in a good relationship, like yes. Things just are more fluent, and it's not difficult to stay 2 hours talking to somebody. The beer is empty.
I have to take the second because it was empty. It was very nice time, and actually we didn't speak for a long time, and it was a very nice thing that you sent me the message. And we postponed a bit, but we did it.
You know, maybe next year we will try it again, and let's see how things change. You know, in a year we talk and we will exchange. You drink beer and I drink wine. Okay.
No problem.
We can do that. Okay, we're gonna say goodbye to Gonzalo. Just saying thank you to him. Just feel free to share this video with your friends, probably especially to brass players, because it's sometimes good to hear a second opinion from a would-be player, because they are another race in our world. And feel free to visit his social media, which are in the description, and feel free to check the rest of the podcast. There are many nowadays, so I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. So we're gonna say goodbye by listening to Gonzalo Esteban playing in a concert called Hollywood Classics. What were you playing here? Which is the name of the solo?
I think it's Mussorgsky, right?
Mussorgsky.
Night.
Yeah, the night on a bald mountain.
Yes.
Okay, Gonzalo. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Don't cut the call.
Please say a joke.
A joke. Your face. No, I'm kidding. No. In English, no, I'm kidding. My face. No, but I have to say, I'm not a great. I'm not funny in English.
A joke in Spanish, man. In Spanish.
Okay, I'm gonna say a joke in Spanish, and then people.
Actually, we were thinking to exchange to Spanish, but we didn't. We felt quite comfortable.
Okay, for those who are not Spanish, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this joke and then move to Gonzalo's video. It's gonna be a great transition. So, esto es uno. This is in Spanish. Esto es uno que va a la farmacia y dice, oye, ¿me podría poner 1000 supositorios? Dice, ostras, dice, 1000 supositorios, Dice, ¿pero tú qué haces? Dices, que te los comes. Dice, no, si quieres me los meto por el culo. Bueno, vamos allí. Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Grande.